Good evening, parents and viewers and guardians. My name is Joseph Downey, and you are currently viewing 21st Century Learning Skills, Strategies, and Apps from our middle school students. We're going to get ready to begin our presentation. At any time during our presentation, you can send in your questions that can be answered live. You can text Orchard Val 461 to the number 22333. So if you would like to get that now, get that written down. And again, I'll share that with you. Okay. That code is Orchard Val 461, and you can text that to the number 22333. And we'll get ready to start our presentation. So, welcome parents and guardians and everyone viewing. Tonight we'll be focusing on some strategies, apps, and ways that we can begin to think about our students as 21st century learners. So to begin, we're going to be talking about what are 21st century learning skills. Skills students will need for tomorrow being high school, the workforce, or college. What a 21st century classroom may look like. We're going to talk about some learning strategies and apps and resources that you can use with your student. How to encourage your 21st century learner. So some tips and strategies for you as a family member or guardian. And at the end, we'll discuss any other questions and I'll answer any that you may have had throughout the presentation. I will be stopping periodically through our presentation to stop and look at poll everywhere. So to begin, 21st century learning skills. So as education progresses, it's now in that, I think I was cutting out, sorry. Teachers are now aware that students cannot just master academics. Our students need to become problem solvers. That means they are able to answer and complete complex issues. They are nimble and creative thinkers, and they're able to work well with others. These are skills that we are currently working with in addition to academics. So our skills for our learners, what does 21st century learning look like? So in front of you, you'll see the 4 C's, and they are collaboration, creativity, communication, and critical thinking. So again, you can think of these as the 4 main areas of being a 21st century learner. So to begin, collaboration, which you're going to see throughout this presentation. This includes how students work with each other, how students become flexible, and how students can make compromises to achieve common goals. So this is a skill that students are going to need in high school, college, and the workforce to be able to collaborate with other peers. The next C is creativity. Students are able to generate and improve an original idea and also work creatively with others. So again, you see that collaboration aspect. So students are able to create and generate their own ideas and even revise those ideas as they go on. Communication. Students are able to communicate effectively across multiple media and for various purposes. So in today's world, we have students that communicate through social media such as Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, email. Students can respond to each other through text messaging. So there are many different modes of communication. So really teaching our students the value of these different modes and how to work with these different modes. So, when is it appropriate to send a text message with certain content? When is it appropriate to communicate with another student through email? So really teaching these students these skills is important. And finally, critical thinking. This is where our students are able to analyze, so look closely at something. They're able to evaluate or judge it, and then understand the complex systems and apply strategies to solve problems. So students really are doing multiple steps here to come up with a way to evaluate what they're being presented with. This could be an article, it could be an issue in their community. Any way that students think above what is presented in front of them, this demonstrates critical thinking. In front of you is the Common Core Path to 21st Century Success. And again, these are just some tips and some ways that our students can demonstrate that they are 21st century learners. Okay. Some of the highlights here, you'll see that they're versatile readers, meaning that they read a range of text, so fiction, nonfiction, primary documents such as journals, news articles. Students are able to analyze a video and pull the most important details from it. Those are versatile reading skills that are needed. The other thing is students are able to explore and investigate. They're able to make a research question and find solutions using either technology or any other resources that they have. On the right-hand side, you'll see the top 3 skills that have been mentioned for student achievement in college and in the workforce. So students are able to adapt to problem solving. So if there's an issue, they can be flexible in coming up with a solution. Collaborative communication, again, one of our C's. They're global thinkers who express themselves effectively and work well with people, maybe all over the world, maybe in an individual classroom, or maybe with someone at home, but they're able to collaborate and they know what's expected in different situations. And finally, digital fluency. Students have multiple skills in word processing. Students have multiple skills in research. Students can adapt to any new technology that is put in front of them. These are all skills that will help to become a 21st century learner. So what does the classroom look like? All right, so currently in our classrooms, we're really focusing on making our students problem solvers, meaning that we look at different issues and we expect our students to approach these different issues or problems in different ways. So students collaborate with each other, they show creativeness, they critically think about issues. And again, they're thinking about any issues that they could be having with classmates, schools, or even in their own community. So students are coming up with different ways to approach these topics. Okay. The first website that we're going to discuss is Newsela. Now, Newsela is a subscription-based website that offers over 1,000 articles. These articles, and before I even go any further, all of our students have an account with Newsela in the middle school. So students are able to access these nonfiction or informational texts at home and during school. One of the great things about Newsela is there are tons of current events. So as soon as something usually happens, if it's on the news the night before, there's an article the next day. This will really help with discussions with your student about what's going on in the world to make them more aware of global problems. Another great feature for Newsela is that you can change the lexile reading levels. What this does is it reduces the word count and also gets rid of some of the more challenging vocab. So depending on your student's reading level, you're able to differentiate, or that student's able to differentiate what they're reading. And at the end of each article, there is a comprehension quiz that is available for our students. So right now, I'm just going to quickly show you what Newsela looks like, at least from the teacher side, and some of the features. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Okay, so this is what Newsela looks like. When your student logs in, they usually see multiple articles. And again, if we look at our library, you have arts and culture, science and math, religion and philosophy, government economics, geography, world history, US history. Okay. Then there's also text sets where students can read about similar articles in one area. So if I looked at primary sources, so this could be speeches, journals, I have many different areas that I can work with here. Okay. And again, Newsela is being used school-wide, So whether your student is in an ELA class, English Language Arts, whether they're in math, phys ed, social studies, science, our students are being exposed to current events in those fields. So that way they're more aware of what's going on. So for instance, if we just looked at a science and math, let's see, so dream job in environmental engineer. So here's the text to give you a little caption, let you know what this picture is above, and students are able to read what's going on. Okay, students can highlight and they can annotate the text as well. So if students want to come back later, this sentence was interesting because they can leave themselves notes. And again, this is being practiced on paper, and as students work more on computers, they're going to be able to annotate more. But again, another great resource. Okay. TED Talks is a website, app, and it's also available on the iPad as well, that students can access to watch multiple videos. TED Talks offers an array of different topics, and students can watch. So whether they are interested in entrepreneurship and science, we have many experts on TED Talks that students can access. And again, I'll show you a quick example. Okay, so here's an example. So if we go to topics, we could go to technology, global issues, and again, when we're talking about 21st century learners, global issues are huge. Okay, a lot of the videos come in many different languages, so students have over 2,400 plus talks that they can listen to and gather data with. Padlet is used in our classrooms currently, and again, with this this website, students are able to discuss with one another. Students can respond to something that the teacher mentions, and students can post things that they're interested in. So for example, below you have students that create a sentence using the word of the day. They could share their sentences with others on the wall. So it's a really great way for students to learn how to collaborate. I've seen in our classrooms this be used for literacy circles, so students post about their books, as well as book clubs. In different content areas, teachers use Padlet to create do now. So students might do the KWL chart, where they talk about something that they know, they want to know, and then what they learn at the end. But again, students are able to look at their comments of their peers and themselves and revise their thinking as they go. And of course, this is a great way for discussions. Okay, I'm going to stop right here for a brief moment to look at our polls. Okay, this question comes from Janice, who is currently watching at home. And her question is, with something like Padlet, can parents access this? And yes, Padlet is free. So if you wanted to use this at home with your students, so maybe you want to see, what their thinking is for a book, or have them describe something that they're reading, you can create an account with Padlet and have discussions with your student. Another thing that Padlet is used for is posting links and resources. So many teachers might have a Padlet with reading resources that you can click on, and there's multiple links. Students might want to make a Padlet to keep track of anything, any due dates, any resources, any websites that they really enjoy. So again, Padlet is really multidimensional. But great question so far. Office 365 is what Washington Township School District currently uses. And not only do our teachers use this for our emails, but all of our students have access to a student email. So what this comes with is OneNote, well, primarily, let me just backtrack. It comes with an email. So students can send emails. They can sign up to subscriptions with their emails. So again, when we talk about collaboration and communication, this is another way that students can begin to learn how to communicate appropriately. When we talk about OneNote, it's a way for teachers that they create online notebooks. So assignments might be graded in OneNote. There might be activities to do in the OneNote. So again, it's another great way for students to start to work online. OneDrive is very similar to Google Docs or G Drive, where students can upload presentations, documents, anything basically to a cloud-based storage system, and students can save their work there. So this is really great for students that are going to multiple classes, and maybe that they have an assignment due in one class, and instead of bringing all their stuff with them, they access their OneDrive and it's there. So it automatically saves for them. They're able to upload and store their information. Skype, again, another communication app that students could use potentially, maybe to Skype an expert, whether that's used in the classroom or under the teacher's discretion. You have Word Online, you have Excel, you have PowerPoint. And again, you can install these on your own home desktop, so students can use this at home. Okay. To access Office 365 for students, you would visit wtps.org. You would click on Staff. From there, you go to Office 365 login. Your student's username is going to be their first initial and their last name at students.wtps.org. And their password is going to be their lunch pin. So again, their password would be their lunch pin. Okay, now we're going to start to get into apps and strategies that you can use for your 21st century learner. Okay. The first app that is used widely throughout our district, it's also web-based, so it's a website as well, is Khan Academy. This is a great way for students to kind of work at their own pace. And what it does is it offers instructional videos, personalized learning, practice exercises, and students can work on various subjects such as math, science, history, language arts. There's SAT prep on this website. So students are able to access this, and really it is hands-on. So anything that the student wants to learn, they click on their grade level, and it's all based on what your student needs. So again, when we talk about becoming a dynamic learner, students can not only access this website, but start to learn on their own. And it's really good for those nights where our students can't access or contact the teacher, and maybe they're worried about a skill that they're not having success with. So again, they could go to Khan Academy and they can look up the skill and maybe some practice for that skill. The next app is the Dragon Dictation app. And what's really cool about this app is that you're able to speak directly into your phone's microphone or your iPad's microphone, and whatever you speak into it will convert into text. So this is great for students that are studying for a test, maybe students that have to verbalize their notes. And again, you can share what you've talked about. So students maybe have a discussion in class and they speak into the app and then share their text with other students. Maybe it's a website like Padlet. But again, this is the Dragon Dictation app, and students can use this for various purposes. And again, it's proven that it's been up to 5 times faster than typing on a keyboard. And some students, they really enjoy talking into it. It's a good way for them to record any conversations they have with each other and have it documented. The Speak It app is the only app that I have on here that is listed that requires you to make a purchase for $2 from the iTunes store. And what Speak It does is the opposite of the Dragon Dictation app. This is a text-to-speech app. So students can download or upload, they can upload a text document and then have it read out to them. So if students are better audio learners, they can have the text read to them. This is good for building fluency, for going back and listening to something after you've typed it, especially if you're doing some type of proofread activity or revision, so you can actually hear what it might sound like. But again, the opposite of dragging, because you're turning your text into speech. The GetEpic app. This is by far one of my favorite apps that offers students a variety of texts, whether it's informational text or novels. Students can sign up for free through their teachers. For parents, it is also a paid subscription, so I apologize, this is also one that requires a payment. But again, if your teacher or your student's teacher is using this, they have an account already, or they can sign up for one. It is a digital library. It's available on the computer or the app. And again, there's a huge range of books. And I'm just going to quickly go over some of the books and titles that are available. Okay. So here's an example of GetEpic. So just from logging into my own account, with it being March Madness, there are many basketball books that are offered. Students can click on a book. Some books also have a read to me feature. Okay. It gives you a range of what ages the students might be interested in reading, a suggested reading time. Many of these books have an AR test associated with them, so you can check for comprehension after, and the Lexile measure. So depending on your student's reading ability, you can kind of discuss or choose books in the reading level. Okay. Again, so you can click through, read. And students really enjoy this when they're using it on the iPad or on their cell phones. And again, it works really well on the computers as well. Okay. So I just want to show you a feature that if your student goes too fast through the end of the book, it will actually remind them that they must read a little bit longer before clicking finish. Okay. But again, there's a huge variety of books that also you can create quizzes with as well. Okay. Again, this is GetEpic. Many informational text. Okay, there's collections. A lot of basketball in here, a lot of sports. But again, this is all set because of my preferences on here. So you could differentiate your own students. Okay. All right, at this time, I'm going to look at our Poll Anywhere. And again, if you want to send in any questions, you would text Orchard Val 461 to the number 22333. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, this question is from Rick. And Rick asked about the GetEpic app. And his question is, what if your student doesn't have a teacher that's using GetEpic? And again, so your teacher could actually add your student just by signing up to this website. It's free for the teacher or an educator. If you would like, you can reach out to me at jdowney, DOWNEY, at WTPS.org. And if you want your student to be added to GetEpic or my own classroom of GetEpic, I can do that for you as well. So please feel free to reach out if you would like to use this service. And again, getting our students to read multiple texts is one of the biggest keys to success going forward. Thank you very much, Rick, for that question. And Hogan, thank you for saying nice presentation. Appreciate it. Okay, this next activity, it can be also viewed as a strategy, is called Book Snaps. Now, depending on your student's age, there's a social media app called Snapchat. And this is how people can share pictures, messages with their friends, and anyone that follows them. With Snapchat, though, there is some educational benefits, and I call these book snaps. So students can download the free Snapchat app. Students can read their independent reading books at home and respond to the text. So again, if you look at our examples right here, there's some pictures, there's some annotations on there. So students can actually interact with the text as they are reading. You could have the students save the picture or snap to your account. So as a parent or guardian, you could have them send what work they did, and you can encourage them to do book snaps with their friends. All right, so again, this is another way to use social media to collaborate, to be creative, and to communicate. So when we talk about those 4 C's, these are all ways. Okay, here's just an example of a book snap. You'll see that a comment was made about what the student was reading. They underline the text. They're able to add in any memes that they like. If you have a Bitmoji, you can put your Bitmoji on there. All right, so again, another great way to use social media for your students to really be critical thinkers. Organization. Organization is one skill that students really have to work on to get good at. Many of our students have different tasks that they're faced with every day, just from academic subjects, switching between classes, having after-school activities, clubs, sports, or other commitments. Our students are learning how to be multitaskers in today's world. And again, as they enter college or a career, these are very important skills. So some ways that you can work with your student is one, work with your student on how to prioritize. So picking things that are important first or ranking them from most important to least important. The next thing for organization is looking at due dates on assignments and then looking at the requirements of each assignment. Now, this is really a huge skill because students not only know when their work is due, but they know how much time and effort is going to go into it. Because it's no longer just acceptable just to know, okay, I have an essay due this Friday and it's Thursday, but how much time am I going to need? Okay, so I have to think about the research involved, I have to think about the revisions and the publishing. So again, thinking about when our assignments are due and then looking at the requirements is very important. Again, going back to numbering the assignments, in the order they should be worked in. So maybe you do your easy ones first, your ones that take a little bit longer first, but coming up with some type of system. When we talk about large assignments, again, like an essay, a research paper, multiple worksheets, breaking or chunking these assignments helps to relieve stress from our students so it doesn't seem like a huge task and it's more manageable for them to accomplish. And again, you can assist your students through sticky notes, a to-do list, a calendar, really using their student notebook or their student handbooks and their homework books efficiently. But again, the goal is to really show students how to prioritize so that they become self-learners. One app that I've discovered through my research in this presentation is the Tat Forms app. Now, the thing with this app that is really helpful is that this is almost like your student's OneDrive, but it's a digital version and it's on your student's mobile device or iPad. Okay, students are able to use this app almost as like a digital filing cabinet for projects. Students can take pictures, students can store documents, all on their cell phone. And again, this is another great way to use technology to begin getting comfortable with different methods of organization. Okay, I'm gonna look for our poll anywhere and just see any questions that might come along. And in front of you, you'll see our Encourage Our 21st Century Learning. These are some tips for your family or for your student on how they can encourage this learning process. And then we'll touch base. Okay, so just thinking about some tips for your family. You can talk about current events and news. And again, one of our greatest resources for that is going to be your Newsela website and your TED Talk. Not only can your students be reading current events in school, but when they come home, you can have a discussion with them about what's going on in the world and really get their point of view on certain events. When we talk about our communities, really help our students be aware of not only our local communities, but our world community as well. What are some issues that are going on? And this kind of ties in with our current events and news. When we talk about our community, Washington Township, some of the discussions we have come into play during Township Tuesday, which is our anti-bullying program. But getting involved and having students have these discussions about bullying, social media, online responding, these are all ways to talk about what's going on in the community and how to fix any issues. The last section is making decisions about responsible digital practices together. And this is where you really want to focus on teaching your student what is appropriate and when is the time and place for the use of technology. So whether they're sending an email, teaching them how to be more formal, whether it's a text message, showing them the differences to become more of a 21st century learner. Okay, we have a question coming in, and this question asks, how can my students get extra help with their homework since a lot is online? Now, depending on your student's teacher, you can really take advantage of your student's teacher's webpage. A lot of our teachers update every day with the assignments, what they are. I'm going back to a few slides ago when we talked about Khan Academy. There's many do-it-yourself exercises and practices that they can use. Also, checking YouTube or even, a service like YouTube where you can type in how to do a skill. And again, it might not always match what your student is doing, but those are some resources that your student can use to be flexible. And again, using our Office 365, emailing the teacher, maybe emailing a classmate or getting in touch with a classmate. These are some great ways to start to work on collaboration. Okay. And then speaking of Khan Academy, another parent just texted in, do teachers use Khan Academy in this school? And yes, across the three middle schools, Khan Academy is widely used. And I would say the majority of teachers using Khan Academy are the mathematics teachers and some of the science teachers. But again, your student can go on and work at their level and whatever skill they need. All right, so I'm going to come back to the questions. Now we're starting to get a lot of questions, which is excellent. All right, so a couple tips. Again, so for you as a parent, how can you help your student get involved at school? You can help your student identify and participate in maybe school leadership programs and school government experiences and positions. But again, having your student take a bigger role and helping out with their community is another way to become a 21st century learner. Making connections to after-school activities. And again, this can be a sport, a club, but having our students be more exposed to not only different people, but different activities as well. One big thing is making learning another language a priority. So in today's world, we live in a very diverse society. Many jobs could be open if a student knows another language. Not only that, but students are able to be exposed to other cultures, which will make them more aware of what's going on in the world. And finally, stay connected. Again, please use your teachers, your students' teachers, as resources. Again, we're all here to make sure that our students are growing every day. So becoming a partner and building a relationship with the teacher is important for your student success. Okay. We are coming to the conclusion of our presentation. I want to thank all the parents. And just quickly, it looks like this parent has sent in a poll. I'm very bad at technology. Where can I help, or where can I get help to help my student at home? And I just have to say, using poll anywhere, you're already using technology in a very positive way. So keep up the good work. But again, so if your student has access to a computer at home, some of the resources that I mentioned in this presentation, which will still be on YouTube, you can review back to. You can touch base with your students' teachers. You can also use, public resources such as the library. Your student can take advantage of homework club or prep club after school. So that way, even if there's no technology at home, or if you're having difficulty with technology, your student still has access. Another suggestion I would make is if you are not so proficient in technology, have your student demonstrate and explain how to use certain apps or websites. This way, they are learning how to think critically and solve problems, and at the same time communicate. Again, big skill for 21st century learners. Okay, at this time, I'm going to continue to wait for a few more questions. We'll see if anything comes in. But excellent question so far, and I think this really helped all our viewers out there. Okay, I'm trying to access another question that we just had come across. Okay, so in regards to Common Core that was discussed, again, you can access any of the standards at the ccss.org. Okay, and I can just quickly show you if you're ever wondering, what are the standards, what are the expectations of our students? Okay, so again, these are Common Core standards that you can access for your students. If you're wondering, what is expected in grades, from 6 through 8 and above. But a great resource. That's a good question as well. Thank you. Okay. TED Talks. All right. So again, if you want to send any more questions in, please feel free. Okay. And remember, you can always email me at jdowney, that's JDOWNEY, at WTPS.org. Any other questions you may have, and you could also post in the comment section. So I just want to thank you again for sharing your evening with me. It's been a pleasure. Have a great night, and I hope that you can use these resources for your student. Thank you. Have a nice night. Thank you.